Hey, are you looking for something to watch in English? Then jump in. I'm gonna show you 10 things to watch for elementary, intermediate, and advanced students. Stories, YouTube channels, cartoons, and TV series. Are you hooked?
Hooked. Wow. The kid's on drugs.
Then first listen to this. What makes a good video for an English learning student? Number 1, no pain, no anger, no guilt. I don't understand anything. No beating yourself up.
Stop beating yourself up. You're a guy, you can't help it.
Number 2, clear pronunciation. Not too fast, not too slow, with good articulation and less background noises. Number 3, you can relate. You can understand the situation. You can watch and say, oh, I know this situation. Oh, I've been in this situation. I maybe don't know what they say, but I know what they mean. Number 4, American versus British. I mean, it's okay to listen to both, but maybe not now. Why make it even harder? All right, let's go.
Let's get it rolling.
Number 10 is Fable Cottage. Fable means a short story. Cottage means a house in the countryside. So there are simple stories with simple plots.
I am so hungry. She sees an ice cream truck.
Hello, Lion. Are you in there?
Great vocabulary for elementary students and above. Why is Fable Cottage good for you? Well, the stories are illustrated. You can see what they do. And what they do and what they say is the same. They say he reads a book. He reads a book. They say he jumps from the tree. He jumps from the tree.
He reads his favorite bedtime story.
The voice is very clear and they make nice, long pauses. They show the words and they teach the words.
She wants picnics and strawberries.
Also, they have a website, fablecottage.com, where you can listen to the stories and read the stories at the same time. And almost each story comes out in 2 versions, UK and US. Number 9. American English with Brent or English with that guy. So what's so cool about him? He is a native American English speaker and an English teacher at an American school, as far as I know. He speaks very clearly and uses practical vocabulary and grammar that is necessary for everyday life. What does he film? Well, he films videos in different places, talking about what he sees and teaching words, expressions, phrases, related to those things.
But what is going on right now is that there are people practicing harness racing.
He also conducts interviews with other people who may not speak as slowly and clearly as he does, but the challenge can be useful sometimes.
Is that the bong right there?
That is the bong. I'm not allowed to talk about that.
The videos are very well illustrated, showing something, saying its name, doing something, explaining his actions.
This? We call that a saucer sled.
One advantage over Fable Cottage is that he speaks modern, everyday, practical English. The pronunciation and the captions in most of his videos make them easy and interesting to watch for students of all levels. And next on the list is a cartoon, Martha Speaks. Yes, it's a cartoon for preschool children, but not any cartoon. It's a cartoon for native English speakers that teaches vocabulary. It's a good combination of simple but natural dialogues.
Mr. Hucky, where are the cameras, the problem pets, and that woman who combs me so well?
They also focus on different concepts of science, history, astronomy, and so on. If some of you guys have an idea of learning a language like a native speaker, this is exactly what you need.
No, I'm not bartering. I'm trying to trade toys for the squirrel.
That's what bartering means.
There are a lot of cartoons for preschool children, like the Fixies or Peekaboo Kids, but I don't like them because of the voices. They change them, they alternate them, and it doesn't help. In Martha Speaks, they don't do that. The pronunciation is very clear and is made to learn English, so don't skip it just because it's a cartoon. Number 7 on this list is another YouTube channel for kids, Storyline Online. Although it's another channel for children on this list, I find these stories interesting. I'm a 30-year-old child. The stories are told by real celebrities.
Mo was a zombie with a deep, dark craving.
And their charm, their energy make them so engaging, so interesting to watch, so fun. The stories are not made to teach vocabulary, but they do teach ideas and morals.
Frank always told the truth to adults. Your breath smells funny.
The vocabulary may be challenging enough, but the illustrations are so helpful. They're clear, bright, and super fun. The stories are not ordinary and typical. I would recommend having a dictionary opened in another tab. though. And the further away we get from number 10, the more fun it gets. This time it's also an animated series, but way more challenging than the first ones I mentioned. Regular Show. This one is more suitable for intermediate level students. The vocabulary and grammar would be challenging. It's a cartoon for native speakers after all, not for English as a second language students.
Hey, you know what would go good with these sandwiches? Funny internet videos. Dude, check this out.
The stories are often surrealistic, extreme, and supernatural, which is not good. I put it in 6th place because of very clear pronunciation and loud and clear voices.
No, I think we're good. We should have trusted you, Benson.
We're going back to video games.
The humor, though, can be quite sarcastic and dark and violent and deal with mature things. Definitely not for children. I strongly advise watching it with children. I strongly advise against watching it with children.
Frick me!
Keep watching if your English level is intermediate and above. And number 5 is a YouTube channel called The Diary of a CEO. Guys, there had to be podcasts on my list, and I actually follow quite a few of them. But for English learners, I'd recommend this one more than others because it's not super scientific with a lot of high-level vocabulary, terms, expression, grammar structures, like in Jordan Peterson's videos.
Because they feel that that's going to interfere with their pursuit of something more valuable, but that's just not the case.
And it's not really informal and colloquial like Joe Rogan's podcast, for example.
You know, he's got this fucking man code and he believes in it. Like, you got to get your ass kicked every now and then.
Diary of a CEO is a good balance.
A toxic work environment is not the work you do, it's the type of work you do.
Different people with different pronunciations, with different accents, but no worries, you will have enough time to learn to understand them. Because the length of the videos is usually around an hour and a half, which is good for putting it on while driving or something.
That is part of my premise, is no human is quite out for this world.
The topics are very different, mostly about success, business, health, science. I'd say pretty typical, all over the place podcast. Everyone will find something interesting.
Moving on, we're going to talk about sugar again. So sugar, it's really bad, isn't it? Who's to blame? Tell me about your childhood.
And next on the list is an American comedy drama television series, which is called Shrinking. While I'm not typically a fan of this genre, I definitely recommend Shrinking for English learners at intermediate level who want to watch a series to study English. The whole series is based on some life situations.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, morning, Derek. How's it going?
Just walking the dog. I didn't want.
I'm gonna text my eldest. I'm sad and blue, and if you don't call me, I'll be so mad.
Hey, my daughter's coming earlier than I thought. Can you drive me home?
Sure, yeah.
And at intermediate level, we're not avoiding phrasal verbs and idioms. We grab them and we study the crap out of them. And the dialogues in Shrinking are full of them. Mostly informal vocabulary, casual talk, a lot of life situations to associate vocabulary with. The series offers a lot of communicative tasks, such as persuasion, regret, struggle. Sometimes people fight. The plot is pretty intriguing. Well, I definitely recommend it. Well, I am doing it. So, next up, I'd like to introduce an English learning resource for intermediate, upper intermediate, and advanced students. It's a YouTube channel called Peter Santenello. He's a traveler who shows different people from various backgrounds and let them share their thoughts.
Are there pretty much the same people living here as did before?
Well, yeah, but a lot of us have passed away.
They're real conversations with ordinary people, and they're absolutely unscripted. Just pure, authentic interactions with the locals. Usually there's no philosophy or science or world problem, just life. The conversations can be quite long, or can be just quick exchanges.
You're sort of not as excited.
Becca's brave, but it's so far away, I told her I didn't think it was a good idea.
It's challenging. But the fact that you can see the context and follow along with the video makes it easier to listen to. However, it does lack humor, which is the last component of the
most difficult problem in the world
for English learners. To fill the gap, I'd like to recommend a hilarious English learning resource, Abbot Elementary. Willard R. Abbot Elementary School is a predominantly black Philadelphia elementary school where the documentary crew is recording the lives of teachers in underfunded and mismanaged schools. Informal English and slang? Yeah.
Break it up, Slack!
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Mrs. Miller, Miss Minty, ponytail guy.
Humor, which is hugely based on what they say. Hell yeah.
Didn't I see your class watching Lego Batman? I don't know what y'all smoking, but if you was to take my health class, you wouldn't be smoking anything.
This series is incredibly challenging. Going beyond any vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, it's gonna be a whole new level of English learning. Why I picked this one is because the plot is still based on real life situations without some unrealistic events one can't even relate to. I don't want to go into too much detail about the next one because
Hey look, Morty! I'm a leg!
It combines all difficulties I mentioned in the previous series, cartoons, everything, and adds a never-ending flow of pseudo-scientific terms mixed with informal English in a animated comedy series called Rick and Morty. It's full of comedy, jokes with cultural references.
So you did a 9/11?
Almost did a 9/11. We went with a Pearl Harbor. We're pretty classy.
And scientific vocabulary that doesn't always make sense, and phrasal verbs, and idioms, and cursing, and screaming, and shouting.
My button! Maggots in my button! Fuck yeah!
And everything. So, a lot of fun in my opinion. In the beginning, I was considering adding scientific, historical documentaries or fantasy TV series where kings and knights speak in a sophisticated manner.
By the power of God, I condemn you back to hell!
But I decided not to, because the vocabulary there is a matter of personal preference. I didn't include shows like The Witcher or Batman because of how they speak.
Why is it whenever I find myself in a pile of shit these days, it's you?
I find Rick and Morty more interesting for somebody who's studying English because it uses the language authentically, just as it's spoken day to day. That's all I've got for you today. Please tell me what you think. Can you give me your recommendations? Because it's really important to find something interesting. Subscribe, and see you soon.